Haralan Popov spent 13 years in prison, but eventually he was freed, and the circumstances I won't go into. You can read the book if you'd like to find out what happened. But out among the public, Popov found that the whole country was kind of like a prison anyway, minus the torture. Everybody lived in great fear of the officials and tried to just keep their heads down and not attract any attention. Popov being Popov, he straight away began holding church meetings. But what he found was that the secret police had spies in each church, and everybody knew it. They would report back on what was being said. And in fact, in most churches, the ministers were puppets placed there by the police to report back. Popov, in fact, said that a joke among the Christians at the time was that the police spies were the most faithful church members of all because they never missed a meeting. And I chuckled at that, and then I actually got a little sad. Because how can it be that the most faithful Christians are the fake ones? The ones who do it for the wrong reasons? In today's world, our churches are emptying. People feel that church is missable. That gathering with the people of God is not really a priority. There are other things to do on a Sunday, and so if we feel like it, we'll go to church. And the weekday night Bible studies and prayer meetings, and not for us. I think it says something if the most faithful churchgoers are those who don't believe but are there to spy. And so in Bulgaria, what happened was an underground connection of churches began, where the real believers could meet away from the prying eyes of the secret police. One of the techniques Popov and his group used was to have a supposed birthday party as a cover for a church service. The officials would see people gather, but if it was for a birthday, they weren't interested and they left them. And Popov says each member of his church had 3 or 4 birthdays a year so that the people could get together and worship. One of the techniques Popov and his group used was to have a supposed birthday party as a cover for a church service. The officials would see people gather, but if it was for a birthday, they weren't interested and they left them. And in his opinion, this was actually a good thing for the church, because he writes this on page 143, the suffering purified the church and united believers in a wonderful spirit of brotherly love. Petty differences were put aside. The people loved and cared for one another and carried one another's burdens. There were no nominal or lukewarm believers. It made no sense to be a half-hearted Christian when the price for faith was so great. There came a great spiritual depth and richness in Christ I have never seen in the times before when we were free. This convicted me. In our country, there's no price to pay for your faith. Nobody really bats an eyelid if you go to church or don't, and so it's easy to pop in and pop out. Follow today, forget tomorrow. Doesn't really matter if you're in or out in terms of safety. And I wondered as I read this, if being a Christian became illegal and a matter of being persecuted, how many people would stay at church or would see it as a burden? Most people already see it as a burden. Forgive us, Lord, for our nominal faith. Forgive us for our comfortable faith. Forgive us our lack of commitment, our lukewarmth. I pray that we truly give our lives to the mission of Jesus and dedicate our lives to you, Lord. No excuses, because we believe so deeply. May it be that our churches today recover that faith of the early church and that faith of the Bulgarian underground church, where true believers dedicated their lives to the cause of Jesus Christ, even if it cost them Sundays and more.